We're standing in a gallery at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts devoted to primarily 19th century art of the United States. We have decorative objects, chairs, paintings by famous American artists, but we also have works by important Native American artists like Fritz Scholder, Nicole Drouin-Davidson, and the work we're going to talk about today by Jaune Smith.
This work, completed in the final year of the artist's life, is called Making Medicine, Coyote, Going Forward, Looking Back. Jaune was an enrolled member of the Salish Kootenai Nation, and it's a monumental sculpture featuring the canoe filled to the brim with what we recognize as single-use plastics, discarded syringes, crucifixes, and other debris. Coyote is what we would call a trickster figure. Trickster figures appear in stories that get passed down to teach us what to do and what not to do. And through their misdeeds, their mistakes, and their choices, we can learn how we should act. So when we see him here, I think it looks like he has been gathering garbage from water, so he's cleaning up, showing us what to do. But at the same time, I think there's another read that perhaps he did something to unleash this disrespect for our earth and our waters and is now in the process of trying to undo it. I love that with the titling of this work, Making Medicine. It's in the present tense. What does it look like to be creating medicine for today's problems? And I think that the scale of the work and the fact that Coyote feels like he's in the room with us doubles down that sense of present tense, shared responsibility, shared stewardship.
I'm immediately reminded of the high-mindedness of the material of bronze, going back to ancient Greek sculptures of the human body.
I think it underscores something that Jaune was really focused on, which is emphatically asserting that Native artists should hold a greater place of prominence within the art historical canon. Also, we don't really see Native contemporary artists getting to work on the scale of someone like Richard Siera or Michael Heiser. These artists within the contemporary art world that get to make these really dominating outdoor sculptures. So Jaune believed that Indigenous artists should be just as visible and have those opportunities. So we see her leveraging her position as a successful contemporary artist to be like, I'm inserting us into this dialogue, but still reflecting worldviews for her as a Salish Kootenai person, as an Indigenous woman, and all the concerns of her practice, but just within this materiality that we don't often encounter with Native artists.
Two of the objects that I'm most curious about are the crosses and the syringes.
I think those touch on areas of historic trauma. There's an allusion to addiction and self-harm disguised as self-healing to get through something painful, but is of course something that impacts a lot of Native communities. And then the same with the crosses. We can think of religion or spirituality as something that brings comfort, but also we know in the United States and in the Americas more broadly, Christianity was used as a justification to commit atrocities against Native people. Forced conversion, the history of missions, residential schools, boarding schools administered by churches.
I'm thinking about the title, Making Medicine, and how the problems that we encounter in the modern world make us look for medicine that's not really medicine.
I also love that parenthetical going forward, looking back. To me, I read that as in order to go forward, we need to look back at true and authentic history. I think Jaune is speaking to, can look back at the ways of our ancestors and learn from those knowledges that sustain communities for thousands and thousands of years. I hope that people encounter this work in a way that feels empowering and not disempowering.
It's interesting because right behind Coyote is a painting by Asher B. Durant called Progress.
Progress, the advance of civilization. You have this oncoming industrialization, this theft of native lands in the name of more heavy quotes, advanced civilization. And then on the left, we have these three native people who are shrouded, their backs are turned to us, and they're in darkness. There is, I think, a really purposeful intention to point out these weren't empty lands. There's something ambivalent about his depiction of progress, but we also, with the inclusion of Jaune's work, wanted to create this pause where we see in Durand's work native people frozen in time, defeated, they're outgoing. We know that native people were not intended to be a part of that future. Our societies were seen as a blockade to that future. So inserting an artist like Jaune and a work like Making Medicine and a figure like Coyote into this dialogue, I think and hope proclaims that we are in this future. We're not frozen. We are people who go forward, look back, have connections to our ancestors. Durand's version of progress, that's not the end of the story for the people depicted in this painting.
And not the end of the story for us.